Hello everybody, I thought today I would show you how to make books. There are loads of videos online about making little books for dolls' houses, fancy spell books and all manner of types of books. Queen City Miniatures does a really good video, and Clearly Warren did one on how to make little book covers from books you already own by photographing them and manipulating them on Photoshop. But these books are pretty basic, but they're good for filling up shelves, and if you've got these things at home, then you might as well have a go at making them. As you can see there, I've made most of them from these tiny little blanks that you get from Temu. You have to excuse my fingernails, they're full of wood dye. I look like I've been smoking 50 a day for my whole life. Yeah, I get these blanks, a whole massive great bag of them. There you go, from Temu. So you can do that, or you can use old books and sort of slice them up down there, just separate them out, and you get this. And then you can just slice them at the size you want them, really. I've got one there that's kind of drying, but when I do that, I always put a bit of more glue along the edge just to secure it, because sometimes they get some of the pages start sort of falling out. This one here is made from an old Edinburgh Fringe catalogue. So I do actually have a group, because I live in Scotland, called Scottish Dolls Houses. So if you've got an Edinburgh Fringe catalogue, Scottish people, or people who've come to Scotland, you can kind of cut bits of this that you see here, cut it out, and then use that to make little books. So you don't need to buy commercial book blanks if you want real pages in your books. Gretchen from Little Gretchen's Workshop shows how she makes her books for her shelves out of bits of foam board and bits of wood and anything you've got lying around. But for some reason I like a book to have pages even if they've got nothing in. And these ones are made out of washi tape. So that's what I'm going to show you how to make first, is how to make a washi tape cover for your book. So I'm just going to clear myself a bit of room. I've put a bit of masking tape on here to try and keep myself in shot more than I have been. Right, so basically cut yourself a strip of card that's the same height as your book, and that is actually too little for that book, isn't it? So I'm going to have to cut myself another bit. What I'm going to do as I say. So what I tend to do is just put the book on the card, and then clip it there. I can see where I'm going. Turn it round. The same there. Get my ruler. Try not to put my ruler in the glue. And then just cut myself, line it up with my cuts. Cut along. There we go. That's it. Is that going to do? Yeah, that's more like it. Right, so I've got my piece of card that's much longer than my book, and then I just wrap it around it. So line it up with that edge, wrap it round, kind of push it into the there, and then get my and use the edge of the book as my guide and cut down. Okay, so I'm going to have the cover of my book, and then I get my tape, and it's easiest to start off with a tape that is wider than your book. You can, as you see, I've made ones, this one here, it's really pretty, little wildflower book. If you do it with that, you can see that tape is exactly the same height as the book, so you have to just make sure that you're very careful when you do the next stage, because you're wrapping it around, and be fairly precise. But if you use stuff that's wider than the book, you can be a bit more slapdash. I got this tape because, well, apparently this washi tape is more environmentally friendly than sellotape. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I just love the pattern on the Vincent van Gogh. So, because I've wrapped it round, I can see that will be the outside of the book. So this will be the inside. So I start on the inside, middle of the spine. It doesn't really matter, and then I just basically wrap round. And as you can see, I'm going off at an angle, but I'm not bothered because I've got enough. But, not bother about that. And have I done enough here? Yes, just about. Ooh, that was close. There we go. And then I just fold this so I can see where I've got to cut. There's a kind of serendipity about what you get, which I quite like. And then use a ruler and a craft knife to get a nice straight edge. Cut along those folds. I think sure. Here's my book. Now, if you don't like one side, or you like one side more than the other, now I like that side best. So even though it's got that one, you could still use that side, couldn't you? I wonder if you could. I'm going to see if I can just put a little bit down the spine of it so that I can use that side, because I like it so much better than the other side. You won't see that. So, yeah. Look, it lines up. Actually, you know what you could do? You could put a contrasting bit down, couldn't you? So, I've got blue. Have I got any yellow? I think I've got any yellow. Oh! I've got that. I'm going to try that. I've not done this before, so I'm ad-libbing. You can just kind of play around like this and make all different types of kind of designs, which I like. Now, rather than, you know, you can print off book covers from Etsy, but it's not so much fun, is it? Right. Let's be pressed down quite hard. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See what I've made there? That's really cool. You'd get that from Etsy, would you? And then you basically just cover your book in glue. I'm using, where is it? There it is. Alien's Tacky Glue. When are you going to give me money for advertising for you? America's favourite craft glue. Come on, Alien's Tacky Glue, you can do it. Make me a millionaire. go. And then just make sure that you've got your spine and everything the right way. Shove it in. Squeeze it about to make sure it's lined up. Press it in. You sometimes get the pages kind of stick out like that, especially if you're using your own ones that you've cut. It's a Bic binder's time, it's called Creep. And you can just trim them off, or you can just live with it. Depends what you're going to do with the book, I suppose. And then you just put a clip on it to hold it while it's drying. And there you go. That's a Van Gogh cover from washi tape. 2 types of washi tape. The other thing I use is bits of old calendar, or this is a Sotheby's catalogue look that I got from the co-op near us. Does a kind of charity book thing, and they pile up the books and you go and can buy them. So it's worth kind of having a rummage and things like that, because you want something that's quite glossy. Well, I do anyway. And I just love the fact you can cut out bits, and you don't really know what you're going to get when you make the cover. So I've cut out this. Did I say old calendars were quite good? Because they're normally glossy and they're quite stiff as well. So you can decide. There's one that I made out of the calendar. I think that was a poppy. And this one, you don't have to do the sticking that you do the washi tape. You're basically doing the same thing that you did with the card. You wrap it round. See what I get. Oh, it's a bit boring, isn't it? I might go the other way. See what I get that way. Oh, that's a bit better. Well, that side's nice. I like that side. So I'll use that as the front. Right, so you wrap it round. And then if you don't like that creep, you can kind of just cut your cover a bit bigger. I'm eyeballing. Normally I do it with a ruler. I'd mark it. Going to be slightly too small for this book. No, that should be fine. Okay, so then I've got that little bit there, and it's nice and glossy as well. And then again, you just do exactly the same as you did for the washi cover. Gretchen's workshop goes on about excess glue use. A thing comes up when she does this saying, warning, excess glue use. I just have to have it on permanently. Try and get some of it off my fingers so I don't get it on the front of the book cover. That's it. Squeeze it around. Now, you don't get the writing on the spine or anything with these, but if you just wanted to fill up your shelves pretty cheaply, or you needed a notebook for a doll's house scene, then these would be fine, wouldn't they? What I have done with some in the past is used a metallic Sharpie to colour the edges of the pages, so you can get gold or any colour metallic and just gild the edges, which is quite nice. So that was the Edinburgh Fringe one. I wonder if I could gild the edges of that one. It's kind of an old looking book, isn't it? I'll just see if I can grab my pens, if I can find them, see what they look like. I've got the normal ones, but not the metallic ones. You might have to just take my word for that. Oh no, there they are. yeah, just a cheap thing from the works. And just there you go. That really does look like, and the fact some of these kind of glossy papers, they crack at the folds, which I think is really quite cool. It makes it look even more aged than it was before. So there's that one. I don't know if I've got one here that I've actually made from a tiny little bit of this. I think that one, I could probably have a go at making one like that, couldn't I? Look at that bit, that's quite nice, isn't it? I'll just do one more and then I'll let this video, call this video finished, I think. There you go, you can see that creep there. It's this page is pointing out, so I'm going to cut a little bit, give myself a bit of a generous portion of that, I think. I'm not even sure. There you go. I'm going to go there. Finish it off with some scissors. I quite like it when he does that because again it makes it look old. So you don't need perfection. If everything in your doll's house looks brand new, it doesn't look like a real scene, does it? And those are nice because you've got that kind of already, that old book has got that patina to the edge of the pages. So I'll just glue that. I did initially ask, oh, I've got to cut up a book. I did English Lit as my degree, so I was like, oh no. But I thought, well, these are books that if they were old and manky, no one was going to buy them at the charity thing. And they were probably going to end up pulped. So I had to kind of let go of my horror of cutting up a book and go for it. There we go. Oh, that side isn't particularly straight, but then given I'm doing it at a distance to try and film it, I'm not that bothered. There you go. So I think I will finish it there, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.